Today we will recite the first 3 slokas and then we will begin our reading. The first 3 sloka I will chant from the first line and then you will repeat with me. All of you are having this paper? Okay. No Buddhahamkara Chittani Naham Nacha Shutra Juve Nacha Prana Netre Nacha Vyoma Bhumi Na Tejo Na Vayu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham 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 Nacha Prana Shango Navai Panchavayu Nava Sapta Dhatu Nava Panchakosha Nava Panipadam Nachopastapayu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham 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 Name Dvesha Rago Name Lobha Moho Madho Naiva Me Naiva Masarja Bhava Na Dharmo Na Chartho Na Kamo Na Moksha Chidananda Rupa Shivoham 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 Dear devotees, friends, that is exactly what we will realize if we can control our mind. Now all these months we are studying how to control our mind, why to control our mind, what we are going to get after controlling the mind. Answer has been given by Shankaracharya. We will understand Shivoham Shivoham, I am the Shiva, I am the Shiva. And that will happen when the mind is totally tranquil. And what will happen at that time? They say in the 3rd aphorism, Tada drashtuhu Swarupe Avasthanam. And very simple, tada at that time, drushtu, Swarupe Avasthanam. That self will reveal itself. The self of our consciousness, or the Atman, or the Brahman, whatever name we may call it, or God, it is easy to understand, it will reveal itself. Shivoham, Shivoham. We will understand we are not all this. Here they say, the moment you are concentrated, Atman, the self, rests in its unmodified state. Swami Vivekananda, giving the translation of the sloka, he mentioned the word unmodified. Swarupe Avasthanam means unmodified. What is this modification? Modification is this. The moment you are asking someone, what is your identity? Immediately we say, this is my name, this is my family, I am coming from this is my background, this. But is it really true? After all these things, when we have already printed on our pad that I am this, suddenly somebody disclosed that you don't belong to this family. Then what will happen? Then sometimes in our movie, in our cinema, theatre, we find the boy was so attached to that family, to the mother, to the father and all this. Suddenly in one occasion, it is a cinema, as a movie, so suddenly he says, you don't belong to this family, you are not my son. What happens? It may happen to any, and actually that is so. When you are telling that we are this, we are that, is it really we are? We are not. So that is the ideal condition, and that is called God realization, and that is why the scripture is telling that is the highest condition of a human soul. What is that? Ayantu parama dharma yad yogena atma darshanam. And realize the Atman through yoga is the highest religion. What is religion? Swami Vivekananda said, religion is realization. What is to realize? That I am Atman and nothing else. Then why I am thinking that I am a body, I am a name, I am a form, I am this? Then they say, because you are modified. With what we are modified? All this drishya that we see, all the experiences that we gather, right this moment, it is so difficult even to imagine that we are not this. So difficult to think of that I don't belong to this world, I am not the health, I am a body, I am not this, I am not that. Unthinkable even to think. We cannot think of it. And that is the difficulty. They have made it in such a way, it is so difficult to go out of all this. So here they are telling, Veda teaches three things: Sravan, Manan, Nididhyasan. See here, all that we have assembled here, for what? This is a shrine, and the God is over here, and then we have come over here to do some religious thing. A religious thing we can do in a different way. By action, by worshipping, and then Sravan, Manan, Nididhyasan. That is the way of the Dhyanis. In the Hinduism, and particularly Sanatana Dharma, they have, in every time, they researched, then they gave some method to follow. And after researching, they understood the human being, psychologically, there are different types. One is emotional, another is a very jnani, constantly discriminating, another is good at work, helping others, like that. Another is dhyani. So all the four paths have been given. So here they say, Sravan Manan Nididhyasam. But the question is, why should I worship? Why should I help others? Unselfish work, what should I do? Why should I meditate? Why should I discriminate? What for? Because it is religion. And without that religion, we cannot survive. It is very peculiar. We may try to deny it, but we cannot survive without that. Somehow or other it will come in my mind. Some way or other it will come. So that is the reason we cannot but to follow religion. But if we know what is religion, it is so easy. How to know it? Scripture. And this scripture, what they say, Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, Nididhyasitabhya. What is Sravana? Hearing. When I am hearing, it is not only hearing. So many things we hear. It's not good, sometimes agitating. So many things we hear. But hearing means with full concentration. When we are hearing with full concentration, revelation comes. Immediately we can understand. That is called Sravana. When the Shastra, the scripture is mentioning, one of our Swamiji who used to teach us the Sanskrit, he used to say, our Pandits means the Rishis, if they could say one letter to express, they used to give the joy of having a fathership, or as the father they enjoy after having a child. So that type of joy, I could say one letter, reduced it in such a small way. That was their attitude. So they don't like to say in a long way, only small. Sravana, that's all. Now you understand this. What is that Sravana? Full concentration. Then only we can understand. And from inside, that will come out. I need not to go here and there. From my own inside, the real result or the real meaning of it will come. The Sravana. You have to go down with that. Going on, pondering. Called Manana. One Swami Turiyananda Ji Maharaj, he used to read only one sloka of a Gita. And then he will be sitting and thinking, why Lord Sri Krishna has said this? And in what perspective he is telling? To whom he is addressing? What should be that way he used to think, and slowly he used to get the revelation. This is the uniqueness. The Sravana, then Manana, then come Nididhyasitabhya. You have to meditate on it. Meditation means transforming yourself into that ideology. We have heard something good, and we know this is good because we have judged it, but we don't practice it. Then what is the fun of it? Then why should you know? So Sravan Manan Nididhyasitabhyam. The why puja, why worship? To make the mind come. When they will be sitting over here doing the worship, puja, and slowly mind is becoming calm and quiet. Because majority of the time we don't observe how the puja is going on. And I have in mind to, if you are interested, to teach a little bit of puja. Very interesting. The worship that we do is so interesting. So you are transforming every part of your body to the holy. Slowly, when you are ready to do worship to the God or goddesses, you are transformed to that God and goddesses. Devam bhutva devam yajet. So this is naturally minds become very concentrated, and that is the idea. Why meditation? To make the mind calm and quiet. Yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. And then comes, why do you do unselfish work? The same thing. Why do you discriminate? Jnana? Same thing. Mind is becoming quiet. And the moment this mind becomes quiet, what happened? It's free from desire. The moment the mind is quiet, it is free from desire. When we are free from desire, mind becomes quiet. The other day when I was a little late, I was reading. Then I was thinking, suppose I go down, prepare a cup of coffee, then I drink, then again. And the moment the desire of coffee came, it continued me. Though go down to, then I said, no, I won't go. If necessary, I will boil a little water and hot water I will drink, but I won't drink coffee. The unnecessary, the one part of my mind is disturbing. So it is creating problem. Desire, though maybe a very simple desire, but it's a desire. And the moment the small little desire is there, immediately mind is agitated. You look at it. So this is the way we have to, Sattva, Raja, Tama. 3 types of desires are there. And these 3 desires naturally take us in that level. This state of mind is called, when all the desires are gone, called Viveka Khyati. This is only the terminology. We are studying the Patanjali Yoga Darshan, and naturally yogic, that all terminology. It's called Viveka Khyati. The Viveka Khyati means mind free from all desire. Viveka Vairagya, we know that Vairagya means Tyaga, and Viveka means discrimination. When we are discriminating all desires, we are all keeping away, then it becomes Viveka Khyati. And ultimately what happens? The Purusha and Prakriti. This is the Samkhya philosophy, they say, Purusha and Prakriti. And Yoga follows that philosophy, Samkhya philosophy. They said that if you can differentiate Purusha and the Prakriti, then the Viveka Khyati comes in the mind. And that time, mind is very calm and quiet. The Purusha means who is intelligent. Prakriti means who is active. They are same thing, but doing. But Samkhya philosophy, of course, they don't say it is same. They say it is different. Vedanta say it is the same. Now this Purusha and Prakriti, when the moment it is, we can understand it, this is called Viveka Khyati. What is Purusha according to Sankhya philosophy? It is Nimitta Karana. Nimitta means intelligent cause. And what is Prakriti? They say Upadan Karana, material cause. To create anything, we need these 2. One is the intelligent, another is the material. And through that material only we can make. Here, some of the philosophies, particularly Western philosophy, they are a little confused. Because they do not understand God created this world, it is okay. But with what? The moment we say, from the earth He created this, from the air He created this, that means we are accepting earth was before God, earth was there existing before God, or all these things of the material was there before God. If it is not, then from what the God has created? Something cannot be created out of nothing. There must be something was there. What is that something? They are confused. And then they say, don't ask, only follow. This is the only difference. And in our Shastra, they say there was no other material except God. So God has created out of His own. The Purusha and Prakriti, they are all same. When one can understand and can differentiate and it can remain some no ego, so obviously aham bhaktya, that is not there. Aham karta, that is not there. I am the doer, that thought is absent. I am the enjoyer, that is also absent. So we have to understand these 2 little things, a bit subtle of course, because the first thing is, who is doing? I am doing. And who is this I? According to Bhagavan Sri Ram Krishna, those who are attending our Panchama Veda class, they can understand it because it goes that way. Who am I? The moment I say I, who is this body, this is called, according to Sri Ramakrishna, Kacha Ami, unripe mango. And the moment you say it's God, then the ripe mango in his Kacha Ami, Paka Ami, like that only he is giving. It's just ripe and unripe. The moment it is ripe, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. When the Sri Krishna is telling, it is not that Krishna, it is God. This is Aham. When Swami Vivekananda said, I, the child of God, I, the son of God, Jesus is telling, that this I is not that I we say. It is that this we have to understand because the result is free from anuraga and dvesha. So first is viveka khyati. That is the word, viveka khyati. And then from the viveka khyati, what comes? Conception, clear conception of, one is that Purusha and Prakriti. And then comes the conception of, I am not the doer, I am not the enjoyer. I have nothing to do with this. Totally Shivoham, Shivoham. I am Shakshi. There you will find in the Bhakti Sutra, they say, in our scriptures also, they say that there are so many approaches. Shantya, Dasya, Vatsalya, Madhura and Shakya. These five. I don't know why, almost everywhere there will be five only. But our rishis, they are very fond of five. Then one of our devotees always say, if I can bring down the letters are coming, we are giving the reply, the email. And very happy if it comes down to 199. Is very happy. Why? Because somehow it comes. So maybe our rishis were also thinking 5 is good. So everything 5, all that we see, the 5 bhutas, Shiti, Apa, Tej, Marut, Bham. Then the body, there's also 5 states. Annamaya, Manomaya, Pranamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. Then like this, like everything is 5. Here also they say, then first is this thing and then is called Anuraga and Desha. I am doer, I am enjoyer. That goes away. Then what remains? Anuraga and Desha. Anuraga, Raga. Raga means attachment. And Dvesha means detachment. Aversion. So not detachment actually, aversion. It's not liking but disliking actually. So this it goes. Ultimately, Raga, Desha, attachment, aversion, naturally mind do not get anything to hold. This point we have to understand before we go to the next step. Mind is just like a creeper. You have to give something for the creeper to hold. So we have trying to develop a small garden, vegetable garden, and the creepers, they're always climbing on the other plants. Either you give some support, then it will climb up that, or it will go somewhere else. So obviously creeper, mind is just like creeper. You have to give some support. Then only it will go over there. When there is no aham, I consciousness, where it will go? Some support you have to give. And when it is not getting any support, slowly the mind becomes tranquil. It gets the support of God. It gets the support of Atman. And then mind becomes tranquil. In the second chapter, 60-65 slokas of Bhagavad Gita, we find the same thing. Raga dvesha vijitvastu. Vishaya indriyaischaran atmabhashve vidhe atma prasadam adhigacchate. So we always keep prasada over here. And if the devotees say, here devotees are very good. And then there, if you don't give prasada, then everything is gone. All they will be angry. You give lot of upadesham, they will listen, but at the back they know prasada is there. If they know prasada, no upadesham. They don't like to listen. This prasadam, they will always say, Swamiji, we have come to get prasad. And what is prasad actually? Anyway, we don't like to tell them because then they will be not coming even for the prasad. At least they are coming for prasad, that's good. This is, what is that prasada? Prasadam adhigacchati. What is that prasada? Raga, dvesha, vijuktastu, vijukta. We are not attached with the raga and dvesha. Raga means attachment, dvesha means aversion. Vishaya indriyaischaran. And all the senses are controlled. Indriya. They are not allowed to go. Indriyascha atmavashyai vidheyatma. Then attain tranquility because Atman remains in Atman. Atman remains in Atman means tranquil. That is the prasada. That is the prasada. Then the moment you get that prasada, what happens? Prasade sarva dukhyana hani rasya pajayate. Then prasanya chetaso yashu buddhi parayavatishtate. This second chapter of the Gita, this 64-65 sloka, it gives the ultimate. And as I was telling, in our scripture, the peculiarity is very fast, they will tell everything that is highest. Then they will go on explaining. Here also we will find in the Yoga Sutra. Prasade sarvadukhyana. There will be no, to attain tranquility, all sorrows come to an end. There will be no sorrow. There can never be sorrow. Prasade sarvadukhyana hani rasya upajayate. One gentleman, he wrote a song, a Bengali song. He went out in search of peace. Then he, naturally for peace he was visiting the Swamis. Then ultimately he found a Swami sitting, the sannyasi. He went to him and sat before him. That sannyasi asked, what for you are here? Then he said, for Shanti. Then the sannyasi said, Shanti is not here. Shanti. Then if Shanti is not there, then what for he is sitting over there? So this is the main thing. Shanti. Prasad. That's why they always say Shanti, Shanti. So what is the goal? Shanti. How the Shanti can come if our mind is not attached or having any cravings, desire. That is the Shanti. Tranquility. Again and again. And that is called prasada. Sarva dukyanam hani rasu pujayate prasanna chetaso hasu. And the buddhi becomes steady. Parjavatishtate. You cannot deviate. He is very happy. You go on telling, writing, so many people will be writing so many articles. Little bit of knowledge the moment they have, and particularly if they can write English first, something they will write. And they will be writing in such a way as if they know everything. So this is the problem. But those who have already realized God, they will never deviate. So many people came from Calcutta. They are all highly educated people, well-established people, and they were telling so many things to Sri Ramakrishna, sometimes telling him, too much of thinking of God, as you have done, so you have lost the balance. You are becoming mad because of thinking God, so much of it. Little bit of thinking, it's okay. And then little bit of business also. Sri Ramakrishna told, what is it? I am thinking of whom? Chaitanya, Chaitana, the consciousness. By thinking the consciousness, I am becoming unconscious. And thinking of unconscious thing, you are becoming conscious. So he used to reply in this way because he was convinced. No deviation. And that is why our Mundaka Upanishad says in a very poetical way, it says, Vidyate hridaya granthi chidyanti sarva samshaya tasmin drishte paravare. If you can realize God, there is no doubt at all. Because all the bonds of our heart as if are slandered, cut off. So naturally, you are seeing the original thing. Then what happens? First they say all these things, tada drashtu sarupya avasthanam. And when it is not in the sarupa, what does it do? Then to explain that, see the question that may come in our mind. You told yoga chitta vritti nirodha. When all our mind modification are quietened, that is called yoga. Okay. Now you say, in that condition what happened? You say, you see your own self. Good. And suppose I am not in that condition, what happened? That is the question. Immediately, in the fourth sloka aphorism, he is giving the reply. At other times, itaratra, vritti sarupyam itaratra. And other times, at a time when it is a vikshepa. Vikshepa means straying away. It's not quiet. In that condition, the seer is not God. It is not he. It is not she. It is the seer. Because we are studying Yoga Darshan. And the Yoga Darshan, it says, it is the seer who sees, observes. And the seer, what happened? Identified with the modification. That Atman, that Chaitanya is identifying with different modification. And what is that modification? This is the modification. The modification means all other things except God. Now we know that mind has two conditions. One, Yoga Yukta, another Buddhita. Another terminology, please note. Buddhita. Buddhita means when you are not meditating. You have come down or you were meditating as if you have got up. So that's called Buddhita. So Viveka, Khyati, Buddhita, this type of Vikshepa, these are all terminology. When the mind is Yoga Yukta, free from desire, and we can see our own nature. When Buddhita, then attached with desire. When we are not meditating, what happens? Attached with desire. So this is way it goes. Then they say, what happens if I am attached with desire? What is the harm? They say dukkha. When you are attached with desire, not that all the time your desire will be fulfilled. When the desire is not fulfilled, what you get? Sorrow. So that is going to happen. So that's why they say, again panch, vrittaya, panchattaya, klishta, aklishta. This is the fifth aphorism of the Yoga Darshan. Vrittaya, all this multiplication of the mind, again 5 times. And these 5 times, some of the modifications bring sorrow, some bring happiness. Vrittaya, panchattaya, klishta, aklishta. Klishta means sorrow, and then not sorrow. Our 5 sense organs, eye, nose, ear, tongue, skin, it collects from outside object different type of impression, and it goes to the mind. When it goes to the mind, it creates some vritti. Vritti means waves. These vrittis of the modification are of 5 nature. Vrittaya, panchattaya. The 5 different types. Some are painful, klishta, some are not, aklishta. Why the modifications become painful? Because avidya. This is the first word. The klesha means the dart. Avidya klesha. What is klesha? Klesha means the dart. And then comes avidya, vidya and avidya. And what is the avidya? Ignorance. Those who are coming here regularly and also attending the Tuesday class, we are reading Panchama Veda. Panchama Veda means Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And because there in the Gospel, apparently he is telling very simple way, but that gives the wonderful insight of the scriptures. And there he is telling Sri Ramakrishna in the conversation, the unique conversation between Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and the teacher in Mahendranath Gupta. And this, he was asking then whether your wife, how is she, etc. Then here, Mahendranath Gupta, to answer Mahendranath Gupta, Sri Ramakrishna gave a wonderful definition. ईश्वर के जाना नाम ज्ञान, अब बाकी सब अज्ञान. So when you realize God, that is called knowledge, and all other knowledge are not knowledge at all, ignorance. Then what is ignorance? Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda, Shiksha, Kalpo, Vyakarana, Chandam, Niruttam, Yotishamiti. There are no other subjects, so they have not listed. So naturally, all that you see in this world, all the subjects that you study, including the Vedas, that is the specialty of the Hindus, the Veda only gives you about God, but you have to realize God after reading those things. So after reading those, what do? You throw away. The Veda is not necessary. So after realization, that subject is not necessary. So that is the reason is calling Ishwar ke janan naam gyan. Then what is knowledge? This. Then what is avidya? Ignorance. And what is that ignorance? I consciousness. Me and mine. This is avidya. So I request you to remember these 5 things. Avidya. Then come asmita. I. This asmita means ego. Third comes raga, desire. Then fourth, dvesha, aversion. Then abhinivesha, fear of death. Everyone is fear of death. Why? Because ignorance. What is that ignorance? We are thinking that I am only this much. I was born in such and such family. This is my father and mother. Then if I die, where I will go? This is the fear. See, Jagatik, in the worldly also, when some people are coming from India, a majority our known people from India, the first person when he is coming, he will be writing at least 12, 13 emails. If I reach over there, what will happen? How to get a taxi? How much taxi will earn? Then how much time it will take? Where I will go? Where I will... So, all these things. All of us, when the first we came to this country, we knew it. And obviously, when a person fast approaching anywhere is afraid. Why? He doesn't know. That is the thing. The moment we know, everything is so easy. Then some people came from in a village because they were a rich but farmer. They were rich people but farmers. They have not lived in their town. So naturally not knowing the system of the town, what to do. When they came over here and they booked a 5-star hotel, etc. Went inside the hotel, then he was confused. Which one is the toilet, tub, and where to bathe, and how to open the tap? No, nothing was there. He was not knowing. So naturally he was afraid. He came out and said, no, this is not good. I'll go somewhere else. He went down and then he found a very simple, and then I know this. I know how to handle all these things, so I feel comfortable over here. So why fear? Ignorance. And those who will be knowing how to handle all these things, they will enjoy the stay in the 5-star hotel. So obviously, this is the thing. We are going to have function on 9th and 10th of November at Hilton Hotel. And one of our friends he organized. So Hilton Hotel had agreed to give the 2 suites free for us. And they were telling Swamijis can come and stay. And I said, no, I am not going to stay. That is confusing. So it is better to be here, so comfortable. Rather, I will send some of our devotees and volunteers so that they will also enjoy staying the Hilton and this etc. Let them enjoy. But we feel comfortable here because it is all known. Hilton unknown. When you are going inside the lift, so many lifts, nearly 12 lifts will be there going up and down. Which one is taking me to that place and then so it's so confusing. I don't know, it's not necessary for us. No one will go. So this is why, because we are afraid. Because why afraid? Because we don't know. So this is the knowledge. This is called Abhinivesha. We are afraid of death. Why? Where I will go after death? I know this place very well. So many people are known to me. After death, where I will go? Of course, they do not come back to tell us. Otherwise, they could tell, we could hear. There's a very good places there. So we need not to be afraid of. As Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, when he passed away, and Ma Sharada Devi, she was crying, he appeared before him, before her, Ma, and then said, why you are crying like an ordinary woman? You know that I am not this body. I only left this body and I have gone somewhere else. It is just like going from this room to this room to that room, that's all. So, Abhinivesha. Then these 5 things, Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha. Again, sometimes some people will be telling, some prayers are there. ক্ষণিক দাঁড়া ওরে সমন বদন ভরে মাকে ডাকি. Khanik Dana means wait for some time. The death has come. But he is not afraid of death. But he is telling, if I die, I do not know whether I will be able to take the name of Mother, Divine Mother. So he is asking the dead, wait a little. Let me sing the name of Mother. Then I will go along with you. So that is not fear. That is the love for God. I want to enjoy this life. Why? Because in this life, I like to realize God. I like to enjoy with God. And ultimately, who am I? That is the unique thing. Once, that picture that you see over there, this is Ramakrishnananda ji. He was a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, and he used to love Sri Ramakrishna so much that Swami Vivekananda, he gave this name to him, Ramakrishna Ananda, the one who always gets joy in serving Sri Ramakrishna, thinking about Sri Ramakrishna. Swami Vivekananda himself wanted to take that name. Then afterwards he said, no, Shashi Maharaj, he is known as that, Shashi Maharaj, and the lovingly people used to call him. He was so much devoted to Sri Ramakrishna. This Shashi Maharaj, his birthday also is 1863, and birth year 1863, and this is 150th anniversary. But all they have given everything to Vivekananda Sri Ramakrishna. Even though they are also direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, and those who have gone through the biography of Shashi Maharaj, they know how he is. But Shashi Maharaj will never say. July 13, 1863 was his birthday. 1863. So, we are so lucky. We are having 3 great personalities, of course, in our order. The 4 we can say. There's one is our Ramakrishnananda ji, another is Turiyananda ji, and another Brahmananda ji. These 3, of course, Vivekananda. But Vivekananda we are celebrating in a big fashion and all this so that people come to know about the philosophy of Ramakrishna Vivekananda. Others are also there. This Ramakrishnananda ji, when he was there, wanted to visit the Ananta Padmanabha Swami temple at Trivandrum. And you know that Kerala, the Trivandrum, they're very orthodox type. If you go, you have to open the shirt, and then only bare body, the male folks are allowed. And then if you are not having the Yakopovit, you are not allowed to go near the Sanctum Sanctorium. So this is all these things still they follow. Shashi Maharaj went over there, he wanted to enter, he was a Brahmin, of course. And then Swami Vivekananda said, I will send to all the Brahmins of South India. You talk about the Brahminism, I will send one Brahmin. Look at him. He was more than any Brahmin. I will send him from there. He was Shashi Maharaj, he was mentioning. The Shashi Maharaj went there and he wanted to enter. Then the priest said, except the Brahmins, no one is allowed to enter. Then he asked, are you a Brahmin? Shashi Maharaj immediately, almost in a trance, he chanted loudly, Naham Manushya, Nacha Deva Yaksha, Na Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Na Brahmachari, Na Grihi, Na Banasta, Na Bhikshu, Aham Nija Bodha Rupa. Aham Nija Bodha Rupa. I exist in my own consciousness. I am the consciousness myself. And all these things that you see is nothing but superimposition on me. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, what is all that? You have superimposed. What is all this that I am a Manushya? Am I a really Manushya? Am I a God? Am I something else? A demon, a ghost? What am I? This is called, though he was a Pujari, he used to worship Sri Ramakrishna in the very minutely, but he was a Jnani at the same time. And this is the beauty of the Ramakrishna mission. Majority of the Hindus, all other places, what they do, they go in one road. Of course that is good. That road is perfect. But the Ramakrishna mission, if you see the symbol, you will find in the 4 roads they are asking you to proceed. Bhakti, Jnana, and then Karma, Dhyana. And Shashi Maharaj used to get up in the 2:30 or 3. And then he will be bathing. Then he will meditate. Then he will go to the temple. Perfectly he will do all the puja. Puja is not a matter of joke. It's very perfectly you have to do. Then only you get the result. Most of the time, the pujaris will be chanting something, thinking something, looking at something and doing something. So like that it goes, because our mind is like that only. So this is the way. His father was Ishatmananda Chakravarti, mother was Bhavasundari. Both of them were devoted to goddess Kali. Father, he became Tantradharak in many puja and very much afterwards. And he was very knowledgeable person in Tantra. And in Tantra, you know, they offer fish, meat to goddess Kali. Peculiarly, Shashi Maharaj, he never used to take fish or meat, nothing. He was a pakka vegetarian. Why? Because he read the book of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he said, no, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was vegetarian, I will also follow vegetarian food. From those childhood days. Their parents were thinking, why from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came? Because we are the worshipper of goddess Kali. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna. Why you are worshipping Chaitanya? No, I follow Chaitanya. So he was adamant. After, when he was a young man, he was studying in Albert College in those days. His cousin brother was Sharat Maharaj. Those of you acquainted with this thing, all the Sharat Maharaj and all, they are there. These 2 brothers, they heard from Keshav Chandra Singh about Sri Ramakrishna. In those days, Keshav Chandra Sen used to speak about Sri Ramakrishna very highly. So these two brothers, they heard about it and then they decided to visit. But they were Brahma Samajis. Any educated boys in those days in Calcutta, it was a natural thing that they will be Brahma Samajis. Otherwise, people used to criticize. They see this is an illiterate person, he is not a Brahma Samaji. So they also were Brahma Samaji. Narendranath was also Brahma Samaji. Rakhal Maharaj also. So these two brothers, they visited Sri Ramakrishna. The moment Sri Ramakrishna saw them, immediately he understood that 23rd December 1885, first time they went over there. Sri Ramakrishna saw them and then immediately he said, hey, bring that book to me. There was a book kept on the Sri Ramakrishna's room and they read from here. And that book was where Jesus Christ is saying about the marriage. For there are some eunuchs which were so bored. And then, quoting the Jesus Christ, he said it is better not to marry. Then one of the friends, he said, interrupted that way, and then he read the Saint Paul also. Sri Ramakrishna couldn't read, asked those to read, and they read. I say therefore to the unmarried and the widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. Saint Paul is telling. Is giving the impression on these young people not to marry. Because in those days the young people used to get married. Sri Ramakrishna knew that they will be the sannyasis, so they are telling like that. Then someone interrupted. Do you mean to say, sir, that marriage is against the will of God? And how can His creation go on if people cease to marry? Then a few days back, a gentleman, he was asking me the same question. I told the answer has been given by Sri Ramakrishna, you please read it. And then Sri Ramakrishna is giving, don't worry about that. Because this boy is so worried about that. If nobody is marrying, then how the creation will go? Then Sri Ramakrishna says, don't worry about that. I speak on what I have to say, and you take as much of it as you like to, or no more. So that is how, but Shashi Maharaj was impressed. Sharat Maharaj was impressed, because these people in the mind, it was always there. And then Sri Ramakrishna, when God assumes a human body for the sake of His devotees, many of His devotees accompany Him to this earth. Some of them belong to the inner circle, some the outer circle, some become the suppliers. That is, when the avatar comes, that happens. The inner circle people mean this type of people. They come and they practice, they show the path, and they go away along with the avatar. And by seeing them, some people like, ordinary people like us, we get inspired to live a very high moral life. So then the follows. And third circle did come. Sometimes it is wonderful. Some people used to come, they used to sit with Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna used to say, you don't belong to this circle. You better go somewhere else. You are not of this. Why? Because the thought of Sri Ramakrishna, philosophy of Sri Ramakrishna, ideology, God realization, of course, very broad ideology. So Shashi Maharaj, they came. Shashi and Sharat had become among the followers of the Christ. Sri Ramakrishna saw them. He could see. The moment he saw these two brothers, immediately he understood they belonged to the Jesus Christ. And he saw them in the Jesus Christ procession, followers. Look at it. So this is the way we understand. Sri Ramakrishna passed away in 16th August 1886. It was so hard for Shashi Maharaj. He used to continuously serve him. And you won't believe how one should be devoted. What is devotion? We keep fan on, and it is outside it is raining and it is cool. We are taking the blankets, but we never think about the God sitting over here. None of us. And we are all sleeping just next room. And in that cold, Sri Ramakrishna Ma, they are all sitting like this, and the fan is going on. But Shashi Maharaj, one day he was sleeping. Suddenly he got up and he heard it is raining. He understood there was a small hole on the top of the photo, like this. On the top there was a little hole was there. It must be drop of water will fall. He came and he saw it is dropping. Immediately he brought an umbrella, put on that umbrella and kept with the umbrella for the whole night. Now suppose we were devoted, what we would have done? We would have taken the photo somewhere other place. Why? The photo just keeping in some other place so that it is not, the water should not touch it, etc. He didn't. Why? Because he used to consider that as a living God. And if I moment I will touch him, his sleep will break, he won't sleep again, so I should not disturb his sleep. That is called devotion. Shashi Maharaj, he taught us in this way. Then ultimately, when the Ramachandra Datta and all that the devotees, they were there, after his Sri Ramakrishna's mortal frame was given to the fire, he collected some things like the ash and all that, and then kept in an urn and kept it there secretly. In those days, where they will stay? They were not having anything. They are not having any food also. The experience of the living with the monastics, one book is there. What is that name? Living with the monastics, something like that. The book is available in our bookset. There the lady, the American lady, she is mentioning, she met these our direct disciples, the Daya Mata, I think so. No. A sister, Dev Mata. Sister Dev Mata, and she has written over there the experiences. And where Shashi Maharaj is telling that they were not getting any food. And in the beginning, in the Baranagar days were very, very troublesome days. There's no food, nothing was there. Only one cloth is to be there for so many 16 young boys. And they used to wash it and keep it. If they had to go out for some marketing, etc., the person who will go, they used to wear that. Otherwise, loin cloth. They used to be there. And no bed, nothing was there. So they used to just sleep on the floor. And next morning, they'll be whole covered with the dirt and dust. The 11 long years from 1886 to 1897, the Shashi Maharaj kept that constant vigil over the master's relics. Then we find one day in Calcutta, Swami Vivekananda asked Shashi Maharaj, Shashi, I want to put your love for me to test. Shashi Maharaj was the great love. He used to like Swami Vivekananda very much. And Swamiji said, I want to taste you. How? He was a Brahmin. He never used to touch others. Then Swamiji said, can you go for me and buy for me a piece of English bread? In those days, if any Hindu is purchasing the English bread, that means his caste is lost like this. Purchase a piece of English bread from a Muslim shop. To put it more difficult, you have to go to a Muslim shop, and that too where? From the corner of Chitpur Road. Chitpur was the famous road, constantly full with so many people. Secretly somewhere in the noon time I will go and purchase a piece, somehow manage. No, you have to go with full confidence, and you have to go in the daytime, the Chitpur, where the Muslims saw, and you have to purchase that bread. Can you do it for me? And he was not his disciple, he was his brother. And he did it. So that was the thing. And then afterwards, the greatest test that Swamiji did on Shashi Maharaj, March 1897, before going to Darjeeling, Swamiji called aside Shashi Maharaj and said, I have given word to my friends in South India that I shall very soon send one of my brother disciples there. I have selected you. You are to go to Madras and found a monastery there, name of our beloved master. I have selected you. Will you please go? No, please. I have selected you and you go. Shashi Maharaj, who never went out anywhere, immediately said, okay. He left that place and then went to Madras. And Madras was much before Villamont. He went over there, started there, and there was in that house that's called Ice House, they used to call afterwards. There he started the Madras. And Madras, you can understand, people who are not knowing, only one or two people will be there who are known. They used to give some provisions. Then one day so happened, not a morsel of food was there. Shashi Maharaj was praying to Thakur, Thakur, what will happen? Nothing is there in the room to cook for you. And if I cannot cook for you, I will also not be able to eat anything. Then he prayed, no reply, nothing is coming. Then he got angry. And look at it, the tremendous faith. Immediately he got up and said, okay, he's fighting with Thakur. Okay, I will go collect some sand from the sea beach, bring it, wash it, cook it, and offer you as bhoga. And myself will also eat that sand. You wait some time. Then he was going out. The moment he opened the door, he found so many people waiting with all the vegetables and other provisions. So that was the faith, and that was Shashi Maharaj. So today is his life. Ramakrishna Nandaji was a perfect combination of various approaches to God. He was a Jnani, he was a Bhakta, he was a Karmi, he was a Dhyani. So that today is Ramakrishna Nandaji's this Tithi Puja, the birthday. In Belur and all, they will be celebrating in a grand fashion. We are only remembering. Today I thought I should also share his holy life a little bit about Shashi Maharaj with you. Just before passing away, he passed away at 1:10 p.m. Monday, 21st August 1911. And he wanted someone, there was a singer, he asked, can you please sing Swami Vivekananda's bhajan to me? And what was that bhajan? Look at it, he was a worshipper, constantly doing puja to temple. And you'll never agree with Vivekananda. Vivekananda said, we are all hungry. Why you are worshipping such a long time? Say Thakur eat and then give the prasad to us. We are hungry. But he will never give. He will continuously, all the mantras he will utter, do this, that. It may take 1 hour, 2 hours. It doesn't matter. You have to wait for prasad. And that Shashi Maharaj, just before his day, he told, can you please sing for me the Vivekananda's, that poem, that song? What was that? Nahi Surya, Nahi Jyoti, Nahi Shashanka Sundara. That was the song that is only for those who are Jnani and meditative. Ultimately what remains, there is no sound, as we are chanting, no sound, nothing. It remains only the Atman, I only remain. So before death, he wanted to hear that. Shashi Maharaj passed away. This Shashi Maharaj used to love Swami Vivekananda so much. Even being a brother disciple, this is uniqueness in Ramakrishna Mission. They kept the brother disciple by the side of his guru. Their guru worshipped him. When the mother was alive, even, you look at the Buddhist tradition, look at the Christian tradition, Nowhere it is there. It is only in the Ramakrishna mission. And that is the ego was totally absent in all these people that sitting over there. I always say, please remove that curtain a little so that Thakur can see them. They can also see Thakur. They are all sitting over there. They are part and parcel of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. We too also every time we should look at them. They are not ordinary. And he finally, just to in conclusion, let me tell you, he wrote a pranam mantra. Who writes pranam mantra? Shishya. Is a brother disciple writing pranam mantra about Swami Vivekananda. Namasvi yati rajaya Vivekananda suraya sat chit sukha swarupaya Swamine tapuharine. That was our Shashi Maharaj. We pray to him so that we also get devotion, knowledge, meditation and unselfish work, that attitude. Jai Shashi Maharaj. So today again we will chant the third sloka and conclude. Of course today it is already more than 12:05. So no question answer we will have next time. Any questions you are having right this moment? 1 or 2 minutes? And then let us chant this third sloka. Name Dvesha Rago Name Lobha Moho Madam Naiva Me Naiva Matsarya Bhava Dharmo na chato na kamo na moksha Chidananda rupa Shivoham 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 Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu